The thing that gets me about this case is this. I have to imagine that most African Americans can remember the first time that somebody used the N-word in anger against them. They may not, depending on their age, might not have fully understood its significance at that point in time, but as they grow older and have more experiences, I have to think that's something that resonates. You had some abuse done to you as a small person, as a child. You, out of anyone, should understand the harm adults can do to children and how it can resonate for them the rest of their lives.
When he said that stuff to me, I was kind of sad because my mom was pregnant and it was a burn stomach and that was my first sister, and he said I hope my mom died. I didn't like that.
When he spoke today, he didn't say anything about the N-word. He just talked about sort of how things made him feel sad because he's a child. He doesn't process things in the same way that we do. That sort of leads to the credibility of what he had to say. And the normal reaction, if a 7-year-old is looking at an adult, is to smile at them, is to maybe talk to them. It's not to say, what the F are you looking at? And then to call them the N-word. When you're talking about someone, it never came out at trial, but I'm assuming he was in first grade, maybe kindergarten. It is almost beyond imagination to react to a 7-year-old looking at you in that way. I will say also, I have listened to the 911 call. I believe it was played 2 or 3 times at trial, and I also reviewed my notes on it. And contrary to your assertions, it does not come across as you being scared. It comes across as you being angry. He showed considerable restraint for someone who's 15-year-old. 15 years old, brain not fully developed. When teenagers tend to be the most impulsive. I was incredibly impressed by the fact that he had the thought process, even though he wanted to fight you, even though he was angry at what was going on. He did not do that because he was afraid he could get hurt in front of his little brother. And I was also impressed with the fact that he had the thought to independently call 911 to make sure they understood what the other side of it was. Because for any 15-year-old, when they see a 16-year-old man calling 911, calling authority, at 15, you tend to think that that person's word is going to be taken as the truth, not yours. Perhaps even more so when you're African American. You said in your letter that you're not racist. I cannot understand, it's just sort of the reality that people who are racist don't admit it to themselves, don't want to own up to responsibility for it because it has such a social stigma. But a person doesn't use the multitude of phrases that you use without being racist. You don't refer to people as trash, as gang-banging thugs, as many of the other things that you said.